You know, the 2007 hunting season in Pennsylvania was very erratic for deer movement. It seemed like some days bucks would be running everywhere, chasing does, rutting like crazy, and then the very next day you'd see those same bucks out in the field just feeding while does walked by and they never paid attention. You'd also get days where they just seemed to bed down and hole up somewhere. So I was hunting with Barry Bartlett out in Indiana, Pennsylvania. And we experienced one of those days where the deer just didn't seem to be moving right off the bat. So it was a very cold morning. We decided to get down out of our stand and walk around and see if we could make something happen.
One of the things I've had success with hunting around this area here is late in the season here, these bucks get a little tied up, you know, holding up and bedding down just to go down over top of these ridges here. This road looks down over in the bottom here. And, these deer will go down there and they'll lay down in there and sometimes be browsing. So out there, about 120 yards or 50 yards.
You know, sometimes when deer hunting, the aggressive approach really does pay off. You can't always wait for those deer to come to you. You have to go to them. So whenever we were in that bottom and we saw that there was a legal buck there, a very nice 8-point with nice brow tines, we decided to take off after him. And what that meant was going clear around the ridge and trying to cut the deer off, anticipating where he was going to run and how we were going to get in his path. And as you'll see, we did catch up to that buck.
Yeah. You called this step down. So would have been such a big group up, we'd have been okay. There's too many eyes back here. Yeah. They spotted, so another deer spotted, so took off. Coming back down here where we hunted you and I here a little bit ago, we saw that buck up on top, legal 8-point, and we're getting ready to go down here. We had cut him off up there, and he circled back around, saw us. Group, we're gonna walk down here. I think they circle back down in here into the bottom here, and see if we can sneak up on him over here. Bad. Oh, where I hit him. A nice Pennsylvania 8-point whitetail shot with the cameraman's gun. Those are impressive brow tines, aren't they?
You're not kidding. Well, as you can see, perseverance does pay off, and it pays to never give up on a buck. If you know where he's going and you have the means to get there to try and cut him off, take the chance. You can't lose. Otherwise, that buck may never come back to where you originally spooked him. He could just be gone. So that was a nice buck, especially for second week of Pennsylvania rifle season. And man, how about those brow tines?
The biggest difference between a modern rifle and any type of these muzzle loaders is our ignition. This is an older type, a CVA. This one uses a number 11 regular percussion cap that fits over this little nipple in here. We cock it. When we squeeze the trigger, the bolt snaps forward, strikes the percussion cap. That drives the flame into the powder. And basically we have almost the same type of an ignition system as we have in a modern rifle. When we start to get back into the old flintlock, the flintlock works on a completely different way. We have a piece of flint. It strikes this part of the lock, which is called the frizzen. This opens the frizzen up. The sparks from the flint fall down into this little pan, and that's supposed to ignite the powder, which starts to burn. This is called the priming powder. The priming powder burns. It runs through the little hole, the flash hole that's in here, and that's what ignites the powder that's in the barrel behind the ball, the patched ball, whatever type of a ball we're shooting. Now, if you look at this, we don't have a whole lot of a spark right there. You can see it a few times. And what we're relying on is those little pieces of flint and metal that the flint scrapes off being very hot, falling down into the flash powder, igniting it, and the flame from that flash powder burning, shooting through this little flash hole and causing the ignition of the powder that's actually in the barrel to drive the bullet out. Now, one of the things that you run into, especially here in Pennsylvania, when we have a lot of humidity in the air, it's very common for that powder to pick up the humidity. When that happens, it gets almost gummy, and it's not only much harder to get to come out of your flask, but it's also harder to get it to ignite. So when I get my nice hot spark and everything and it falls down into the pan, even though it's landing on the powder, it doesn't always ignite right away. Another thing that happens is this little flash hole gets corroded from the oxide, the oxidation, the residue from burning the powder, and the flame doesn't shoot through. One way that you can almost ensure that you'll get the type of ignition that you need is to buy the oversized flash hole, the little insert with the oversized flash hole for hunting, or you can actually take a very small drill, I would say no bigger than 1/16, and finish drilling that hole out so that it's just slightly bigger than the standard flash hole that comes on most flintlocks. If you do that, by the time you get this type of a spark, after you've cocked the hammer, with that type of a spark, you should almost ensure that when that flash powder burns, it will shoot through the flash hole, igniting the powder that's in the barrel behind the bullet, and you'll have ignition just about every time. That's our tip of the week.
Pennsylvania Backcountry is brought to you by Graff & Sons, the Reloading Authority, Four Seasons Game Bird Farm, some of Western Pennsylvania's finest game bird hunting, McLaughlin Game Calls. If we wouldn't take our call hunting ourselves, we wouldn't package it. North American Fur Auction, the only place to sell your fur. The Pennsylvania Trappers Association, District 2, Wear Fur, a beautiful renewable resource. Matthews, catch us if you can. And by huntingpa.com. PA's ultimate online sportsman community.